Good morning, students. Welcome to Literature Learning. I know you are eagerly waiting for the story of El-ahrairah and the Black Rabbit of Inle. I hope you have seen the video and heard the voice messages sent by me as the introduction to this lesson. And by now, you have come to know what the story is all about and who are the characters mentioned in the story. Watership Down is a survival and adventure novel by the English author Richard Adams and was first published in 1972. The story features a small group of rabbits. Although they live in the natural wild environment with burrows, they are anthropomorphized. That is, they are attributed or given human characteristics of behavior, possessing their own culture, language, and their language is Lapine, which is coined by Adams himself, and then proverbs, poetries, and mythology. Evoking epic themes, the novel tells the story of the rabbits as they escape the destruction of their sandalford warren by human beings in the name of development and seek a place to establish a new home, the hill of Watership Down, encountering perils and temptations along the way. So it's a story of their adventures. Then, Fiver, a character in the novel, had a gift of seeing visions, that is dreams. Whatever he saw in his visions became true. Watership Down was a vision Fiver saw as the new home for the rabbits who had to escape from their sandalford warren as it was being destroyed by human activities. So the rabbits set out together to look for Watership Down to settle down. The novel Watership Down is about the adventures of this group of rabbits who are on a journey to their destination. And after so much of exploring and digging, finally they find their warren, which they make their own and settle down. But in the extract that we have got as our lesson, chapter 4, El-ahrairah and the Black Rabbit of Inle, Dandelion, a buck rabbit, buck is a male rabbit, is telling the story of El-ahrairah to the other rabbits of his warren. His story is about El-ahrairah, the legendary hero of the rabbits, who was ready to sacrifice his life for his people. Dandelion is not mentioned in our extract, but this information would help us to understand the story better. Now you can see in this picture El-ahrairah with rapscuttle. El-ahrairah is in golden color and rapscuttle, the white one, and the black rabbit of Inle at the background with the red eye. Now let's read the extract from the novel Watership Down and know how El-ahrairah saves his people. So, late one afternoon in February, Rapscuttle led some of the rabbits some way away from the warren. He got separated from the others and strayed into the guards' quarters outside King Darjan's city. They caught him and took him to the king. So it says here that Rapscuttle, who was the captain of the Osla is also once again the rabbit language, which means the rabbit police force. So of the Watership Down. So in every warren there was a police force, and Rapscuttle was the captain of the police force, Osla. That captain of the police force means Osla, and was a trustworthy companion of El-ahrairah. So he was a best friend. One afternoon, while returning with some rabbits of his warren from a sojourn, that is a temporary stay, at some place, Rapscuttle got lost in a fog and was taken in by King Darjan's soldiers. So, strayed in the third line means moved away or lost his way. And got near the guards' quarters or houses outside King Darjan's city. The guards got him and took him to the king. Next, it reads, King Darjan saw his chance to spite El-ahrairah and put Rapscuttle every day to work. Now, when after Adams died, his daughters were interviewed, and somebody asked that we didn't find who King Darjan and his men were, but they were always in the background, and we knew that King Darjan was one of the enemies of El-ahrairah. So, who were they actually? So, the girls said that they were Weasel King. They were Weasel. Weasel is also a creature, an underground who that makes burrows undergrounds. So King Darjan saw his chance to spite. You can see that I have underlined to spite, which is a phrase meaning spite means to harm, to deliberately hurt someone. So he saw a chance to humiliate El-ahrairah because his companion had been caught, and this was a good chance for King Darjan. However, El-ahrairah and two of his does dug a tunnel. It's not does. You see that line, word does. It's does and not does. Don't read it as does. It's does. Who are does? Doe is a female rabbit. So does, two of his does, meaning plural of does. So dug a tunnel. So these females, they dug a tunnel from the wood, from the forest area, into the back of the bank where Rapscuttle, bank is the river bank, where Rapscuttle worked, and they all escaped. So what did they do? From the woods, they made a tunnel deep down, and they came up on the surface where Rapscuttle was working, and they took Rapscuttle into the tunnel, and they all escaped. What a clever way, no, of bringing their friend out. So when the news reached King Darjan, he decided to finish El-ahrairah. Oh my God. So what happened? When the king heard, Darjan was very, very infuriated. So he began planning a war against El-ahrairah and his people. So Darjan's soldiers did what? Let's see. When the soldiers went to the meadows of Finlo, meadows where grass grows. So meadows of Fenlo, but they couldn't get down the rabbit holes. So they went down, they tried to look for the rabbit holes, and they looked and saw some holes, but they could not get in because weasels are bigger, no? Bigger in shape and all. So they could not get into the holes, rabbit holes, and they feared their fate. If they went to King Darjan without El-ahrairah, the soldiers didn't, so they didn't want to go because they knew they would be killed. So hence the soldiers didn't go away. They sat outside and waited. So they laid siege to the burrows and waited for the rabbits to come out. So whenever any of the rabbits tried to self-flay, you see this word self-flay in italics because it's not English. It's the Lapine language for meaning go above the ground to eat. So I've written it on top for you to memorize. Self-flay, a word from rabbit language, Lapine, meaning go above the ground to eat. So they found their enemies ready to jump on them. Whenever they went to self-flay, they would find their enemies ready to jump on them. What a bad day for them, no? So El-ahrairah's people could only snatch a mouthful or two of grass before they had to bolt underground again. Now, I'll come back to that word once again. So, this italics, I hope you have understood what the meaning is. And it's a fictional language, Lapine, which in the story is spoken by rabbits. So, whenever any rabbit went out to self-flay, that is to eat outdoors, he would be attacked by Darjan's soldiers. Now, El-ahrairah's people could not eat anything, and even if they could eat a mouthful of grass before they had to bolt underground, jump into their burrows for safety. To bolt underground is a phrase which means to quickly run underground to their tunnels, their warren for safety, to escape or get away from those soldiers. So, he tried every trick, but he couldn't get rid of the soldiers. Who is he here? El-ahrairah. He was a trickster. He was very quick at doing things, but he couldn't trick the soldiers. The rabbits became thin and miserable, and some fell ill. All these rabbits now, without food, they were desperate. They became ill, and some of them even died. Now, so El-ahrairah was desperate. He felt desperate. Now, what is desperation? That is distressed, very anguish, hopeless. What to do now? So, in his desperation, what did he do? He realized, he called out to Lord Frith and told him that this is his condition. So, he realized that if there was one creature who had the power to destroy his enemies, it was the black rabbit of Inle. So, at this hour, he understood there is only one person who can save them, and that is the black rabbit of Inle. But the thought made El-ahrairah shudder, as the black rabbit was fear and everlasting darkness. So El-ahrairah was frightened. The very thought of the black rabbit made him shudder, that is, tremble with fear, shuddering, trembling with fear. And he was very fearful because he was the guardian of the underworld and the dead. He was the equivalent of Yamdut in Hindi, and was the phantom servant of the great Frith, or the creator of the universe, that is sun, and performed his duties only. So he only performed the duties of the sun god. So in this way, now he says here, but the thought made El-ahrairah shudder. It only made him fearful about him. So you can see in this picture, all the friends going towards their destination. Fever is in front, and all the rabbits trying to find watership down their warren, because after losing their home was being destroyed by human activity. So they are going in search of their own warren. So find a warren where they could live now. So that's under a picture in the right. You can see it's a poster picture for watership down. So, and here you can see El-ahrairah pleading to Lord Frith, the sun god. Then he served Lord Frith. Who served Lord Frith? The black rabbit of Inle, and did no more than his appointed task. So he was the person who only performed the duties of the sun god. In this way, he was the protector, and he would revenge any rabbit who may be destroyed without his consent. Now, this is very important. So, what does it say? In this way, he was the protector, for rabbits must die at their predestined time. They cannot die otherwise, and not be killed by others. That is, they should not be killed by others. So, Darjin's men were trying to put these rabbits to death. So, without the consent or permission of the black rabbit. So he decided, this is why El-ahrairah decided to meet the black rabbit and to plead and to give up his life for his people's sake. So next line we read. Finally, El-ahrairah's decision. El-ahrairah would seek out the black rabbit and offer him his life in return for the safety of his people. So unless he failed, he would not return. So what did he decide? He was determined to go and search and find out the black rabbit and offer him his life instead of his people. The only way he would return from the black rabbit would be if he were to fail. So he made up his mind to meet the black rabbit. So next day, El-ahrairah and Rapscuttle set out on their dark journey. They tricked the soldiers and they went out to look for on the dark journey, that is to meet the black rabbit of Inle. So they call it a dark journey, and they didn't know because what is the future going to hold for them. So this way they are going on a journey. They are going to meet the black rabbit to plead to him to save his people. So I hope you have loved this presentation, and this seems to be better than the earlier ones, and I hope a little hard work on this, but I hope you really enjoy, and your enjoyment is my love. So thanks a lot and for watching, and I hope your appreciations are what we need. Thank you.